Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please, join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report. And welcome, everybody, to my Independence Report. My name is Kevin McDonald, and we've got a great show for you today. I hope that you'll hang with us for the entire hour. We have Lynn Miller and Barbara Mango. Mango, is that correct, your last name?
Yep, like the fruit.
There you go. And I like mangoes, especially from when they're fresh from Hawaii. They're wonderful. By the way, what did you think of the new opening?
Oh, I loved it.
It was great.
Well, see, I made him say that, ladies and gentlemen.
It was great anyway, really.
It is awesome. Okay, so explain to me and our audience why you're here. I know why you're here, but I want you to explain. You've written a book, and it's based upon life experiences that both of you have had that are really out of the norm, if you will. At least a lot of people don't admit to it. So tell us, Barbara, tell us about the book.
Well, the book is called Convergence, the Interconnection of Extraordinary Experiences. It came out March 1st, was the original launch date. And Lynn and I are co-authors, and it was born of two things. Number one, our lifelong experiences of like every kind imaginable, and our understanding from a very young age that all of these experiences, although they're, quote, separate, they're really not. They're all interconnected. And then Lynn and I worked on the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation Research Committee, and we became really good friends, and we were researching the interconnection of unidentified aerial phenomena and other inexplicable phenomena. And the common theme was non-local consciousness. And that's how Lynn and I met. And we started working on a chapter together for the book. And we said, hey, you know what? Let's just blossom this into a book because we have so much to say. So that's how I met Lynn.
And how are sales going from the 1st of March? How's it going?
From the 1st of March, we just finished our first quarter. And I have to say, better than I thought. You know, I was pleased. Let's hope to get some more, Kevin.
Well, the law of attraction and all that, if you put it out there and it'll happen for you. So, which is just awesome. Now, Lynn and I had the opportunity to chat before, but we didn't get into a lot of what she experienced growing up. And I also want to get into the UFO thing because it's coming to a head right now. And we need to talk about that. But first,
I certainly hope so, because we've been saying this for years, that it's like, this is the year that we're going to, that everything's going to be revealed. So I certainly hope so.
Absolutely. So, Lynn, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experiences. And it's really, honestly, your experiences with energy. And that's what this all comes down to, right?
Yeah, of course, it's all energy, and energy also, you could say, is vibrations. And also energy can be another way of saying interdimensionality and stuff, because, everything, when you talk about the dimensions, we are talking about the differences in vibrations, therefore the differences in energy. So are you asking me about how this started for me?
Yeah, we might as well go there because that's a good place to begin. Where did it begin? How did it start for you?
Well, it started probably when I was hitting puberty, but now I will say that it probably started long before then when I was really younger. It's just that I don't remember a whole lot of details because when I was younger, there were some instances where it was very difficult for me to understand the difference between reality and things that were not reality. For instance, I was having visions of the Mayan temples and tunneling underneath the Mayan temples, and I was having visions of visiting these places with my dad and my brothers. And there was times when I really thought that those things happened, and they didn't. So those things were. Things were. I don't know if that I had dreamed them so often, or visualized them, or had certain types of fantasies about them. But yeah, it was to the point where when I was a child, it was hard for me to tell the difference between these two worlds. When I started getting older, around 13 or 14, I noticed that I would awake at night and my room would be a different color, like there would be a very bright blue light. And I was just sitting up and I was thinking, it's like, okay, this is really cool. And it seemed normal to me. And that would probably have been starting my first adventures in probably having contact with other entities, possibly extraterrestrials. Also, where I would be having my, first, at least things that I could recall, out of body experiences. And then, of course, as I got older, these experiences started to be more prominent, especially when I started to study spirituality and started to practice meditation. I noticed that these things were becoming really, really quite prominent in my life. I was having really, really strange vibrations. Of course, that would be the energy parts of this. And I started to listen to more things, read more books. And that's when I started getting into learning about out-of-body experiences through William Buhlman, and started to do controlled out-of-body experiences, at which I would do different types of meditation in order to have a higher likelihood that I would have OBEs. And I learned how to control them once I was out having an out-of-body experience, at which I have met many, many entities, my guides, extraterrestrials. I've been to different worlds, all kinds of things. It's been a very, very beautiful experience for me.
Barbara, how about you? How did you get to the point where you wanted to write this book?
Oh boy. Well, what happened was I got my PhD in metaphysical science in 2014, and I've been a lifelong experiencer. I mean, since I was 2 years old. And so I think I wanted to take the educational component with the experiential component and sort of put them together. But when I first graduated, I wasn't sure of my direction. So I was asked to be on the board of the Past Life Research Institute, which was great. And so I presented at their first at a conference in 2015, excuse me. And then I just started writing articles. I have some articles published on Jeffrey Long's Endorf website. And I started contributing chapters to other books. And then when Lynn and I met, like I said, we were writing a chapter for the first book that came out, the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation. They were publishing it. I think it was what, Lynn, like 800-page book. And we're like, that's a little long. Why don't we take the information? We always believe that consciousness is non-local, and that was the focus of the Dr. Edgar Mitchell Foundation. And we always believe that because experientially, right, that was a common theme, or the theme, in every one of our experiences. So we figured, Lynn has a science background. She's a master's in biology, and with my metaphysics background and our amazing amount of personal experiences, we decided, let's finally write that book, because it's something that I had wanted to do, and my contributions and just, articles were sort of leading me on that path, and it's something I always wanted to do. So we undertook it.
You have a PhD in what?
It's metaphysics, metaphysical science. So it's a Greek
So,
word.
when
And
you went home for Thanksgiving, and your mom and dad or whoever you had Thanksgiving with, and you sat there and they said, "Well, what are you going to school? What's your major?" It's like metaphysical science, huh? What is that?
no,
Did you get?
they no, my family always thought I was crazy. I mean, they thought I was crazy when I was 2 years old and told them about my spirit guide, and I mean, so I'm used to being crazy. My dad actually didn't believe any of it, but he was proud of me that I was, motivated enough to pursue it. And my mom was just like, oh God, she's nuts. My sister was like, she's nuts. Um, but you know what? I didn't plan on getting my PhD. I did get my master's, but the thing is, I loved the material so much, Kevin. I couldn't put the books down. I mean, I literally could not stop studying. I'd walk around the house. I'd have my nose in a book. I mean, I'd be cooking like with one hand, like on the oven, and the other with my nose in a book. So I just kept going and going and going. And then you get to a point where it's like, I either don't do my dissertation and I'll never get my PhD, I'll get that final part, or I try to undergo the sometimes torturous process of it and go for it. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a lot of support, and a lot of people I know just thought I was crazy. But what metaphysics means, in case, somebody is not familiar, meta means beyond, and physics means the physical. So it's a study of what lays beyond the physical, the five senses.
And there seems to be a lot more beyond the physical that we don't understand, and a lot of people will not even take the time to look at it. But I got to ask you both, because you both have had contact with your spirit guides. Do you have regular contact with your spirit guides now, Lynn?
I have. Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. Either one.
Oh, I feel like my spirit guides are part of me every day. So even though I may not be having, let's say, an out of body experience where I'm actually talking to them, I feel their presence all the time. So it's sort of too like when I have thoughts and when I have meditative thoughts or prayers, I just always feel them there with me. So yes, all
Barbara?
the time.
When I had my first experience with a spirit guide, it was a very specific spirit guide. She was a Native American woman. And I think at that particular point in my life, she was exactly who I needed to come to me. But throughout my life, because I've read, my experience has been I've had different entities or, beings come in and out of my life at different times. But honestly, the one being who's consistently been in my life is my maternal grandmother. She died when I was 17, and she's always around me.
And so when you have an out of body experience, which, by the way, Mr. Buellman, his book, I did interview him years ago, and it's on the podcast, so you can review his material. And it really is quite startling when the out of body experiences that he learned how to do and learned how to do it. And I was quite a bit younger then, and because this was like in 2003, and it was like, are you sure that you have? But there's so many people that I've met that have had out of body experiences now that I believe in the concept, and I believe in what they do. When you're talking with your spirit guide, Lynn, on the other side, and you're having a conversation, what are they talking about? Are they talking about your life and what you can do and how you're doing and stuff like that, or they're talking about sports and or what? What do you talk about?
Okay. That's hard to explain. It really is, because I do feel like it is that there's several of them. It's just not one. And
Right.
I feel like a lot of it is sort of like an education. They're teaching me and they're training me, and that's part of it. And that was, some of it was very, very straightforward. Like I would be having an out of body experience, and a particular guide would be teaching me and telling me about certain things. For instance, like how to create wormholes and portals to other dimensions. Okay.
Oh,
Some of
wow.
it was, yeah, some of it was manifestations. Manifestations was a really big deal because the law of attraction works very quickly on the other side. You're closer to source. The energy is so much greater. So manifestations work very quickly. And that was a big part of it too. And a lot of it was just teaching me about that we are creative beings. And that was a huge part. A lot of it also was experiencing multiple lives and past lives, my life on other dimensions and other planets and other civilizations. It's like I was experiencing those lives as them. It's like I remember lifetimes upon lifetimes of experiences. So that was part of it. Part of it is that my guides took me to other dimensions, other planets, to look at, to visit other types of beings, other types of extraterrestrials. So it's a various sort of thing. There are times when I would experience, let's say I would come out of body and I would ask to see my guide, and I may not see my guide. There's times too that I would ask to see them and they weren't there, or that they would just be there without me asking. But it's sort of like, to me, they are my family, they are my friends, they are everything. I have been with them for lifetime after lifetime. So it's just this huge knowing, and that was it's just the most beautiful experience. It really is. So it's so many different things.
And Barbara, how about yourself?
Um, my my experiences aren't based so much on guides. I mean, they do come in and out of my life. I do energy work. I'm a Reiki master. And I do Reiki on myself a lot. And when I'm doing Reiki, I feel a lot of vibrations and I get answers to things. It just sort of pops up into my mind, or I see not so much colors, but I can actually get answers. And I really don't know who's talking or speaking to me, but I have so many different kinds of experiences. I mean, they range from like mediumistic experiences to weird stuff going on in my house. And I have to say, like, when we first moved into this house, some like really creepy, weird stuff was going on. And so I did a little investigating. And this is something that happens with some frequency in the house. And it's not like bad, it's just, unusual phenomena. But our house is like situated right on the path of the Underground Railroad, because believe it or not, in Connecticut, the town I live in, which I didn't know when I first moved here, was really big part of the Northeast Underground Railroad, and it literally almost runs right through our property. So that's one piece. And also there was an encampment of the Revolutionary War really close to my house as well. So I think there's been a lot of trauma and embedded energy. So, I mean, yes, I have my guides. I also have experiences with orbs and things going on in my house. And I've had many past lives, but they have all been while I'm fully conscious and not under hypnosis. And I've halfway, identified one of them. I found some facts backing it up. I've seen a UFO. My experiences are very varied. Like Lynn is just has had like, I don't know, 500, 1,000 OBEs, but mine tend to be of different types, and they don't come necessarily when I expect them. They just sort of pop up.
Now, do you believe, both of you, do you believe that this is a special gift for you guys, or do you believe that anybody could do it if they're open to it? That's number one. And number two, Lynn, I wanted to ask you, you've done a bunch of OBEs. Have you ever left your body, gone into somebody else's house, and ended up in their bedroom at an inopportune moment?
Do you want me to go? Okay. No, it's not like that. No.
I know. I just shut you down. Sorry.
No, it's like this is okay. Can anybody have this? Number one, I do think that when it comes to, and Barbara can probably talk more about this too, because she did the psychology behind this. Yes, I interdimensionality, the fact that our consciousness is non-local is a human thing. It is within all of us. Okay. So that's just what we are as human beings. Okay. Now, when it comes to the access of being able to have experiences like out-of-body experiences, experiences like Barbara has, and of course, last time we talked, it goes way beyond that too. The psi phenomenon, telepathy, ESP. Yes, I think that because human beings, because we experience non-locality, yes, as human beings, that is in our nature. However, there are certain types of personalities that are more prone to have them. Now, and Barbara can explain that. I would never, and I really do feel like that it is impossible for us to be able to go in places like when you're having an experience and like OBE, where you're infringing on somebody else's privacy, or you're going into, I think that there's universal laws against that. I'm not saying that it can't be done, and maybe on TV it's done, like we can possess somebody else's body, or go and look at people. Now I have visited people, absolutely, yes I have, but it was usually something that was given permission for me to do. And or sometimes, let's say I've done experiments where it's like, let's meet somewhere in the astral plane and stuff like that. So we have, but as of going in somebody's bedroom or overstepping the boundaries of privacy, I just feel like there's, I don't know how to say it, just that there's energy that keeps us from doing that. It's just something that keeps us from overstepping that into somebody else's, because we are beings, we are interdimensional beings. And I just think that is something that is impossible for us to infringe on. But, other people may say differently, but I personally would totally not want to do something like that. Or I don't even think I could. I've even been to the hellish regions of the astral plane, like what you would consider to be the underworld, and stuff like that. But as of infringing on somebody else's privacy or trying to, get into their thoughts or read their thoughts or take over their minds, no.
Well, what fun
Barbara,
is that?
do you want to talk about anything about?
Kevin, that was a very leading question, I have to say.
I've always wanted to know if as an example, if you're a gossip and you want to find out about your neighbor and what's going on in their house, and you go hang out, you can find. But I get the fact that the other side protects people and their privacy and all that. Yeah. So I was kind of making a bit of a joke, but
I know, but it was fun.
But still, if you can, anyway. So Barbara, speak to the whole realm of things. Now you've written the book. Okay. The name of the book is again
Convergence: The Interconnection of Extraordinary Experiences.
Very good. And it's these are the two authors, Barbara Mango and Lynn Miller. And what's your website if they want to go look at that?
Oh, it's www.extraordinaryexperiences.org.
extraordinaryexperiences.org.
Experiences.org.
Check it out, because they've got more than just this book. They've got a couple other books that are up there as well. But anyway, finish your thought in regards to what my smart ass remark and what we were talking about.
You were gonna, yeah, that very funny. But you were gonna ask me what type, if we think that like anybody can have these experiences.
Exactly.
Well, like Lynn said, yeah, we're all capable of it, but I think it's a two-part. Number one, like we can all sing, right? But I'm no Lady Gaga, right? Right? So it's like,
you'll have to define what singing means, because
right. And the other part is fear. I think a lot of it's fear-based. I mean, my husband was raised in a very religious Catholic family, and even though he's embraced a lot of the things, like he's seen things I've seen, he's really opened up a lot. He has a block of fear. He's too afraid to let his mind go, right? And so I think that fear, and I also think some of us are just born more attuned. And so I've always been really interested in psychology, especially like abnormal psychology. So when we were writing the book, I wanted to try to learn a little bit about the type of personality that tends to have experiences, because there is. And Kenneth Ring first did research on a near-death experiencer personality type, but I wanted to try to expand that. So I learned there's something called an anomalous prone personality type, which kind of encompasses everything. It encompasses like near-death experiences, past life experiences, any kind of extraordinary or inexplicable phenomena. And we are like wired differently. Most of the time we have really difficult childhoods. Not everybody, but most of us. I know, Lynn and I did. And we either as a young child experienced abuse. It could be like sexual, physical, emotional abuse. We either had a traumatic, like one really traumatic incident in our childhood, or real chaotic home life. And we also easily disassociate. But here's the thing, disassociation, daydreaming, zoning out, whatever, it has a flip side. Like, yes, we disassociate, but it's also a psychological coping mechanism, right, for trauma. So is it that we easily disassociate, or has that been taken a step further, right? Because it was a coping mechanism for us. We tend to be introverts and very intuitive, and easily hypnotized or spaced out. Easily we can get spaced out or zone out. We tend to be very creative, independent. We like to do things our own way. We see the big picture. And we're also, and Lynn and I were talking about this the other day, like we like things to be fair. We're very oriented towards fairness and treating everybody with kindness and respect. Like that's almost like hardwired into us. So Lynn and I actually took a test. Have you ever heard of the Myers-Briggs personality test, Kevin?
I have, but I'm not familiar with the details.
Okay, well, it's a personality test, and actually it's broad in its scope, but businesses used to use it, right, to see what kind of person they were going to hire, or what, and it's the biggest personality test there is, and one of the main factors it weighs upon is whether you're an extrovert or an introvert. And so when Lynn and I took this test, the top 4% of the personality types tend to be anomalous personality types. And Lynn and I were like way off the charts. We tested in the top 1% of the entire population. So we know we're weird. We're like, okay, this explains it. So yes.
But Barbara, can you talk a little bit about more what is an anomalous prone personality type? Like they're creative, some other things about them?
Well, yeah, they're creative, they're assertive, they're forthright. And we're sort of anti-authoritarian, little rebellious. But, and we also tend to be very sensitive, but I don't mean like we are sensitive beings and we're very empathic, but I don't mean just like sensitive, like we're highly sensitive people to towards other people. We also tend to have like sensitivity, chemical sensitivities, environmental sensitivities, like, allergies, stuff like that. We tend to have, and I know this sounds strange, but a lot of us have more physical issues. We seem to be wired that way. I mean, I can speak for myself, but actually, we tend to have more medical issues and operations, which I can attest to, which is really strange, but I think it's part of that. I don't know, we're just prone to sensitivities in general and bodily anomalies. I'm trying to think. So we're highly sensitive. We're fantasy prone as well. Our imaginations can just take off. And but none of these traits, I really want to emphasize this. None of these traits are pathological. Like people may say, "Oh my God, you're crazy. You're nuts. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard of." You're out there. But these are very real things, and we came into the world wired this way. Our environments help shape us, but in no way are these things pathological. They're very normal. They're normal to us, and they're very much within the norm psychologically.
By the way, Barbara, if you need to stand up and move around, feel free to do that at any time, because I know
Okay.
that, speaking of which, you recently had back surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and that takes a while to get healing and get feeling better.
Yes. Yes.
So I'll bet you though that I've had as many surgeries as you have.
Let's see. I think this was my 12th or
Oh,
13th.
damn
I
it.
lose track.
All right, you're ahead of me. My sister who's 5 years older is in your league. I've only had 9.
That's enough.
Yeah, but I've had triple A stuff, had back surgery, stomach surgery, all that kind of stuff. So, but I
Oh
so I get
gosh.
it. I get what you're talking about. And I want to delve into, we need to delve into a phenomenon that is taking place right now in our society that I've only been alive for 63 years, but I've never seen the amount of coverage and the amount of people talking about. And by the way, there's a government report coming out in June that should be quite interesting. But as far as the UFO phenomenon, it is beginning to go a lot more mainstream than I would have thought. It would have thought ever, because they've denied it for so long that it's just weather balloons and that kind of stuff. Do you guys find that in your work that we are entering a new phase of UFO phenomenon and their ability to hang out with us? Barbara, how about you go first?
Um, I saw one of my major lifetime experiences was, and in the book I write about this, was actually seeing one on a bright, beautiful, sunny day. It was enormous, but I verified it. It's in the government declassified Project Blue books. So it was verified, and it was an amazing experience. So I've always believed in them. I've always considered them an absolute part of, just a normal thing, like never like out of the norm. I've seen a few other sightings, but they haven't been verified. Yes, I think this is being talked about much, much more. I think people are becoming a lot less hesitant to discuss it. Maybe it's because it's being accepted more in society in general. But as you would say, people are coming out of the closet more, and it's not being judged as much. I don't think there's a lot more validity given it to it now that there's so many shows on like Discovery Channel and Ancient Aliens and media coverage, that kind of thing? Lynn, what do you think?
I think that, well, definitely, but I think what Kevin is getting, what he's hinting to is disclosure, right? That we're kind of getting close to the all complete disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I remember when they when they had that UFO, that Tic Tac, as they called it, with the plane chasing it, and that was on national news. I think that sort of started the beginning of where they're getting on national news and actually saying, oh, look at this is an actual UFO. I mean, things like that. Are you trying to say that it's starting to build up to a point where more and more these things are being put in places where, actual media on TV, besides Ancient Aliens, which I love, but actual news channels and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
to start getting us a little bit more accustomed and trying to get us a little bit more and more to the point where it's like, this is believable. Because I know that when it comes to disclosure, that it's had to be pretty, I think when it comes to, the public, that the government probably held back to the point where it's like, let's not tell them all the truth all at once, but to just gradually get in there and take small steps. So I think that is definitely happening. And I know something big is coming up too in the news.
Well, and I'll tell you that for years people have said, well, if we found out that there are actual extraterrestrials that are here, it would freak everybody out, and we would have mass pandemonium, and we have all kinds of problems and stuff. So I honestly believe that by doing it this way, our government, as are other governments, we're not alone in this, are slowly but surely leaking out to make it more normal, so that when that day comes, when somebody does show up on the White House lawn, and it will become a little bit more, it'll be easier for us to take, and there won't be, as long as they don't come out and look like alien and stuff, then we'll be fine. But I think I really think they're prepping us for a bigger event than we've ever seen.
Well, I think too, like even the Pope, even the church and the Pope admitted that they believed in extraterrestrials and stuff like that. So you're having these, big people, out there, admitting or saying, oh, I believe it. So, if the Pope believes it, it's got to be true and stuff. So, I think that sort of is protecting sort of the religious side of this, because, I always thought it's like, come on, man, when all of a sudden we are aware and know for a fact that, there are other races besides mankind, that's gonna really change some paradigms for a lot of people that may not be able to accept it, especially, as I'm saying, in the religious aspects of, that humanity is not, God's chosen people or whatever, so I think it's had to be very slow and in a very progressive type of situation.
We're not alone.
But yeah. Right.
But I did want to mention this. If I can, because you two are, by the way, the name of your book again is, because Susan wants to pick it up. The name of the book again is
Convergence, the interconnection of extraordinary experiences.
Absolutely. And as you can tell, you can read that somebody Susan is sending us messages, and it's not from the other side. It's actually from her.
I see it.
I'm trying to look. My eyes are bad here.
and here she says, there are people right now who work energetically with ETs to help heal the planet. I know one personally. Hey, I know two. I bet you it's the same one. But given that, it is interesting when you look at it philosophically, and I want you to put your earthling hat away here and think philosophically, because humans have not been around for all that long. You've been around forever. Your energy has been around forever. So you may have been an ET at one time before you became a human. You guys agree with that statement?
I totally.
Yeah.
No, hey, listen. And if this has to, like with Susan, who said that in different, she's met them in different lifetimes. I feel like this is my first incarnation on planet Earth. I personally do, because I've had visions of other lifetimes where I have lived as an extraterrestrial or another being, or what we call non-human intelligent being. And it's, I think that, a lot of people call them star seeds and things. And I know that there's a lot of people out there. I mean, this is not an uncommon thing. I know there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way that I do, that feel like this is not their origin is not planet Earth, but we are here for a purpose and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Did I answer the question? I can't remember what you asked. Okay.
I can't. So long ago. But no, you did. You answered it because because I've said this to people before when they say, us as humans, and I said, by the way, I just want to let you know that your soul is not human. And it's what? What do you mean it's not human? It's like, well, no, it transcends that, because your soul can end up being anywhere, in any dimension, in any form, at any time, and so you're not restricted or bound by what the religion would say, or and that sort of thing, because we are ultimately all one, and we are all the same energy, regardless of where we come from. Is my opinion, and would you guys agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yes,
totally.
That's why I had you on.
Yes, I've seen it.
So we agree with
yes.
you.
I mean,
exactly.
Yes.
Go ahead, Susan. Go ahead, Susan. Hello.
Did you mean me, or did you mean?
Are you talking to one of us?
Oh, you started to say something, Susan, and then I cut you off.
Are you talking to us?
Oh no,
to Susan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Susan? Oh,
Yes,
sorry about that.
We
I
didn't
meant
know
Lynn.
you were talking to.
I don't know who I'm talking to either. That's
okay.
one of the advantages of being who I am.
Sorry. I feel like one thing that I share in common with quite a few individuals, especially people who, that have had out-of-body experiences, is this longing feeling of wanting to go home or missing home, and home is not here. And I've had so many times when I've had my experiences where I'm outside looking up at the sky, and it's like I'm reaching up, and it's a longing for my family. It's almost like it's such a heartfelt thing of missing them and wanting to be part of them. And yes, and I know that I share that in common with a lot of people.
And but the thing is,
that's what I want to say.
They're with me all the time, and my soul family and the folks that take care of me, my spirit guides and all that stuff. They're with us all the time, and they mean to take good care of us, don't they, Barbara?
Absolutely. But I wanted to say something to Lynn too, and I don't mean this facetiously. I mean this like very passionately. I talked to my husband before about this. I freak him out because I don't feel that this is my home. I mean, honestly, this is our home for what? A little nanosecond of time, right? Because we're just eternal consciousness stuck in a physical body. But there have been times where I say to him, I want to go home. Like, this is not my real home. I want to go home. And he'll say, oh my God, you're not thinking of committing suicide, are you? I go, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I want to go home. So I have to be pretty careful who I say that to. But I feel the same way, same way as you and Lynn. I mean, and the thing is too, I mean, if we've if we've lived in a myriad of other places, I mean, God, why pick Earth, right? It's supposed to be the densest, hardest environment to incarnate in, right? So we must be real trooper warriors to be here. So.
That's what I keep hearing. By the way, yeah, do you know what's interesting about this conversation, as so many, is that when we have a conversation like this, and I've talked to, over the last 15, 20 years, I've talked to many, many, many people and have had the same kind of conversations. Everybody says the same damn thing. It's not like everybody's making it up on their own. There's a common theme. There's a commonality to it, that we all are the same, that we're all one, and that we all are eternal souls, and we're here for various reasons, to learn, to have experiences, to have a good time, and or whatever, and stuff like that. And it's really interesting that everybody comes up with the same thing. That's why I believe it so thoroughly now. How about you guys?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the thing is when we have our experiences, right? We're having them in a time and space beyond our 5 physical senses and our 3D everyday life, and they're realer than real. I mean, everything is so heightened, and you suddenly understand the interconnectivity of everything, right? And sometimes you get downloads of this absolutely phenomenal information you would never understand. It would be very difficult to in 3D. And then when the experience ends, you're like, right, back in this body, I mean, you remember the experience. You remember some of the information, at least me, I'll speak for myself. I remember some of the information I'm given, but I believe I'm not supposed to remember all of it, because if I did, I really wouldn't want to be hanging around all the time. But what I'm saying is, it just, once you're out of your body, so to speak, and you do experience that complete, total interconnectivity, because you just really become pure consciousness, and it's so hard to come back into the physical body, and again, I'm just speaking for myself, but I think, Lynn, you probably feel the same way, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have felt a complete oneness with the universe. I mean, where I felt the universe rumble through me, through my mind, through my consciousness. It is just not through the experiences, but you can, at different times you can feel that oneness where you're no longer just yourself, but you're feeling everything else. You're feeling you're feeling the dirt and the trees and the insects and the birds. I felt that when I've walked around the ocean, I would feel the life, the vibration. It would run through me, and and you can't experience that all the time, because then we wouldn't be able to function as human beings. But
that's right.
Yeah, it is so much there, and it's very difficult to sometimes explain the oneness, but it's almost as if you forget who you are, and you're no longer you, but you're everything at once.
Right.
Well, it's interesting because Susan echoes your remarks that we who incarnate on Earth are badass.
She's
and
right.
and she's right, but there are more. I have a theory. Let me drop my theory on YouTube. That there are more people on the Earth now than there have ever been during the course of humanity. As a matter of fact, there may be more people right now at 7 billion than have ever lived on the Earth before. And I think it's because it's a hard place to be. It's very dense. The law of attraction works, but it takes time, and nothing happens immediately that we're used to on the other side. But I think a lot more people are being willing to come here now. You know why? Indoor plumbing. They don't have to go outside to go potty anymore, and they can take a bath inside, and so I think it's we're a lot more comfortable than we used to be 100 years ago, 150 years ago. So sorry, that's just my weirdness coming out. I can't help myself. Sorry. So, but let's talk about the book again. I want to make sure that everybody that has the opportunity can go get your book. It's on Amazon, and the name of it is, again,
It's the interconnection, extraordinary convergence. Yeah, now I'm getting mixed up.
see,
Convergence,
that's why
interconnection of extraordinary experiences.
see, and that's why I have the author do that, because I'm bound to screw it up. That's just the
But
convergence of.
Kevin, when you talked about the toilets, you got me going, and I forgot.
Well, I said indoor plumbing. That's more to indoor plumbing than a toilet, but but that is a major.
Well,
That is a
excuse
major
me.
thing. No, that's very
But
true.
anyway, it's also, yeah, it's available on Amazon. It's also available on Amazon Europe, in all over Europe, in Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, and believe it or not, I think Turkey. And it's on Barnes and Nobles and Book Nook and on Kindle. So there's a lot of places you can find it.
It's in Turkey, and they can do that without somebody like getting burned at the
Yes.
stake for buying that because most of them are Muslims.
I know. I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw that it was available in Turkey. I don't know why. But hey, it's a paradigm changer, so I guess that's a good thing.
That's right. So tell us if you were to buy if you were to go read the book, what are you going to get out of it?
Well, let's see. I'll tell you what our goals were in writing the book. First of all, we wanted to show, and again, it's, convergence. Every one of our experiences have common themes. We want people to know that, like ufology, so to speak, or past lives, or near death, some of the big ones. They used to be studied as individual phenomena, right? And we never really looked at it that way. We look at it like a tree, and they're just different branches of the tree. They are different aspects of consciousness, but they have so many commonalities, and that's a large part of the book. Like, for example, in all of them, we don't speak verbally, we speak telepathically. They're realer than real. I mean, they really are realer than our everyday life. They're non-mistakable that you're having an extraordinary experience. We have downloads of information, or we suddenly understand something in a context that we could never understand it, normally. We usually see beings of light or some type of light. Time doesn't exist the way we know it on Earth. It can speed up, it can slow down, or it can just completely disappear. So there are other components as well. Those are just some of them. And so we wanted to get across that, these are all interconnected. And if people could look at it that way and understand it that way, that might be a paradigm changer. We also are as we've said, we've had experiences our whole life. So we do lean towards the experiential because, we've done it. We've been there. But it's really important to back it up by science. The two have to be married, really. You have to find that middle ground. So we include a lot of hard, cutting edge science. The other piece we wanted to bring in is that, because what I hear all the time, and I've been told, you're crazy, you're nuts, it's not real. It's so hard for experiencers to navigate life, everyday life, when people don't validate them or believe them, things like that. So we wanted to let everybody know that this is okay. It's normal. There are like-minded people. Don't feel alone. And we give a lot of resources that people can use in the back of the book to connect with other like-minded people. And then thirdly, there's a growing trend in education in the medical field. It's growing really slowly to educate medical personnel and, doctors, nurses, hospice, psychologists, psychiatrists, that they really need different education to teach them how to deal with patients that are having spiritual or have had spiritually transformative experiences. Because if they don't listen to them and validate their experience, you know, it can create even more confusion and more angst and more difficulty for the patient. And it can even lead to PTSD. I mean, 40% of near-death experiencers end up with PTSD, which is a lot. And I really believe part of that is because they're not heard. You know, they're having this incredulous experience, they're coming back, they're trying to process it and understand it and make sense of it. And at the same time, too often, way too often, they're being told they're crazy. That really didn't happen, you know? And it's really sad. So that's the third thing that, you know, I like to emphasize. And Lynn, what else would you like to bring in about the book?
Well, I mean, to me, the whole thing is that consciousness continues, that, we do not, we continue on. Life is beyond our physical body. Death does not exist. I think that of any huge paradigm changer for me was a realization of that,
It's amazing to me that, well, it's beyond my comprehensions that people believe. I have a relative who's very close to me, and he says, "Nope, sorry. When you're dead, you're dead. It's black. And there's nothing like it's like
Yeah.
I can't believe that you can actually believe that. That makes no sense to me because there has to be purpose. There has to be a reason, and we're lucky enough to
Yes.
understand that, so that you can look
Mm-hmm.
forward to. It's like last fall, my brother passed away. He was 18 months older than me, and he passed away of lung cancer. I wasn't sad because I knew where he was going, and I knew that he would be happy, and it was okay. Because I know that if at the root of my soul, I know that. Why some people can't figure that out, I don't know. But that's why I'm glad you guys have the book out there.
Yeah.
You can help them
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's been a
Yeah.
it's a real
I
pleasure
always
to have-
said, you know,
Go ahead.
mm,
Go ahead, Barbara.
you know, the thing, I'm sorry. The thing is, because I'm getting a little echo, so I'm sorry. The thing is that I don't understand this, Kevin. You maybe understand it better than me because of your career in this, but I do not get while the fear of speaking is supposed to be the number one fear there is. I would think it would be the fear of death. That's number two. So, which is still I don't think. So, in writing this, Lynn's right. Like I have told people, you know, if I can reach 5 people, you know, I mean, I'd love to reach, you know, thousands, but if I can reach like 5 people and have them change their vision of death and lose some fear of it, you know, what a wonderful thing. How great is that?
Oh,
I
exactly.
think it's right.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, because we're coming to our time together is coming to a close. I'm so sorry. I would like to have you guys on again. Would you guys like to come on again?
Oh, I'd love to.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So Barbara Mango and Lynn Miller, and this is the part of the program where I give you each a soapbox to talk about to our audience whatever you'd like to say. So Lynn, why don't you go first? I hate to spring it on you. You want to?
Well, no, I highly encourage people to visit the website, because, Barbara is a prolific, beautiful, wonderful writer, and she has put out so many beautiful blog articles all about this stuff, about her own experiences, about our experiences, about her expertise of all this. So the experiencers, here I go again. Now you're making me forget. Extraordinaryexperiences.org is our website. And please visit that too, okay?
Holy crap, it's contagious.
Because we got a lot of great stuff on the website. So please visit that too.
Yeah, we do. And we have a lot of other things there as well. So yes, if you could check back, and we actually connect with people. You can reach out to us. We'll connect back with you. We're on social media. We're on Facebook.
Yes.
We're on Twitter. I haven't started Instagram yet, but occasionally I post to Instagram. And I just wanted to add that a little plug here, but I will be speaking at the International Association of Near Death Studies. It's IANS. They're having their national convention in September. The information is on the website. I just found out that I was accepted a few days ago. So anyway, that's my big news.
You didn't tell me that. That's huge news. That validates
like,
everything.
It's well, you know,
she just found out.
I get in, and it took them a really long time to make a decision. Like they were supposed to, I believe I was supposed to hear by April 1st, and I didn't hear until, I think, what was it, like 3 days ago, something like that. So it sort of just happened, Kevin. I'm excited about it. It's going to be virtual this year, though, because they just decided with COVID to keep it that way.
It doesn't matter. That group has been going on for a very, very long time. It continues to grow. The science behind it and everything continues to be validated. So no, that's a big deal. You know what that does for you. That gives you credibility and gives the book credibility as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's going to be September 1st to the 5th. It's 4 days this year, and we're putting, as it comes closer, I'll be posting a lot more about the conference. I just have those details right now. So
I know.
you can go to the website and check that out.
But you should be very happy about that, and congratulations. Very well deserved.
I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. We've been talking with Barbara Mango and Lynn Miller. They are the co-authors of the book. So let's see if we can all say it together.
Convergence. The interconnection of extraordinary experiences.
Of extraordinary experiences.
And if you go, it'll be on the podcast, and it'll be on YouTube as well. So I appreciate both of you coming on, and we'll have to do this again as we get closer to September. You need to come on, Barbara, and we'll talk about NDEs and all of that research, and of course, Susan, you're welcome as well. Okay. And we'll do this again. Can we do this in at the end of summer?
Hey, we can do it whenever you want. I love this show.
Yeah, we love it. And Kevin, you make us laugh. You make me laugh too much.
Well, as long as you don't need the pens, that's good. That's half the fun of creating. And I love talking to people like you, because you give my energy such a boost, because I know that what we're talking about is true, and people that are out there that say
very true,
them folks is nuts. They don't know, and they need to figure it out. And sooner or later, it's as happened with my brother. He was a fundamentalist Christian upon his deathbed, and so he didn't find out then, but he's found out now. I have a friend that is a medium, and she got in contact with him real recently and he said to her, "It's true. He was right." So that makes a big difference to me. So that was really cool. So again, Barbara Mango and Lynn Miller, you guys are welcome anytime you want to, and we'll do this again, and we'll have some fun.
Thanks, Kevin.
I can't pronounce your book. Put it up there one more time, Lynn. Convergence. There it is. The interconnection of extraordinary experiences, and that's what they are.
Extraordinary experiences.
See, and I couldn't even. Of course, it was moving at the time. So, you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. much. We really enjoyed being on. Thank you, Kevin.
Now, you guys stay where you are. And by the way, Susan, who's kind of a regular around here, Susan, I've got a brand new closing. I want you to listen to it and then respond and let me know what you think. So, ladies, hold on right where you are. Whoops.
Okay.
I kind of gotta go do something else here. Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other because each other's all we've got. See you next time on My Independence Report.